back, everybody. My name is Dr. Alyse Price-Tobler, and this is video number 5, where I speak about my healing qualia treatment protocol and what's inside it. I'm giving you all a sneak peek into what's actually in it. And today I'm going to be speaking about the rights of the adult child survivors of child psychological abuse related to parental alienation, familial abduction, estrangement, and lethal family systems harm. So the rights of the adult survivor is something that I haven't heard before. So I've seen the rights of the child, but the adult survivor, yeah, I haven't really heard much about that. So I thought I'd create my own for healing qualia and just talk a little bit about that for a moment. This is Healing Qualia. I show it on all my videos. Here it is, book 1. And, well, this is the same manuscript. It's the same book. It's just easier to handle when I've got it split. Publication date on the 25th of July 2026. And this is a clinical treatment protocol for adult child survivors of child psychological abuse in the context of parental alienation, familial abduction, estrangement, and family system harm. So that's come from my twin PhD research, and I'm very proud of it. And in this series of videos, I like to tell everybody a little bit about what's inside. So today, let's cover this. Now let's see if I can get this right with the camera. There it is, Healing Qualia Rights Statement for Adult Survivors. So I'm going to read this out for you because I feel like if somebody had written this for me when I was younger, because I myself am an adult child of high conflict divorce and separation and parental alienation, so I understand the space. I also am a clinical psychotherapist, so I work on the front line with adolescent and adult child survivors every single day. I also work with alienated parents, targeted parents, pathogenic parents. I work with a lot of different people, and I also work a lot in mental health and disabilities on the front line. So I cross across all sorts of areas. For the last 10 years, I've been thinking about healing qualia and how I was going to write it, what degrees I needed to do, what data I needed to collect to be able to write healing qualia. So it's about to be unleashed onto the world out there, and hopefully it'll get to where it needs to go. I've had quite a few adult child survivors read it and give me their seal of approval and their love. And I've had crying, I've had tears, I've had, if I had read or been given healing qualia or my practitioner had known about it, Dawn McCarty actually said, who's on the front cover of the book along with Andrew Faulkner, she said that if she'd been given healing qualia with her practitioner, she would have had a lot more years with her father. As it was, she was alienated from him after her abduction for 44 years. And to hear something that powerful come from somebody who's had such a huge life struggle is all I need, really. That alone in itself has made all of the study and hours and everything that I've put into writing this book, because nobody's paid me to write it. I have not had anyone support pay to me to write it. I haven't had anything. I've just been writing it at night for the adult child survivors, because like I say in each video series, every second counts towards ending suicide within this cohort. So every single night, every single day that I wasn't at work or with family, I was thinking about finishing healing qualia. So the minute I finish my twin study PhDs, with the mental health practitioners and the adult child survivors that they treat, I started writing the treatment protocol because I realized there wasn't one out there from all the data that I collected and collated and analysed during my twin study PhD. So Healing Qualia is born from that, and it's about to be released, and I just hope and pray it gets to the adult child survivors. And then they are the ones who I actually believe are going to be able to arrest the development of parental alienation, because if we don't get to them, if we don't treat them, if we don't listen to them, and we don't give them the psychoeducation that they need, they're very, very, very likely to pass it on down to the next generation, and they will pass it on to the generation after that. But the adult child survivors that I've been working with for quite a number of years, I've been able to give them the psychoeducation, undo what's happened, teach them a different way so that they are not passing that down to their children. And I'm also teaching them in Healing Qualia how to deal with difficult situations if they have to still be involved in their families and their alienating parent, and all of the people who are aligned with that person are still in their lives. This is a very complex, difficult thing, and alienation doesn't stop when a child turns 18. A lot of the time, there's people in the family court who actually believe that that's a thing. It's not a thing. Alienation can actually go for the rest of our lives as long as our alienating parent is still up to no good, up to manipulation, up to getting us to try and realign back in with them. If we don't do it, there's serious consequences for us coming at us from all different angles of society. Now, that's a conversation for another day, and Healing Qualia has definitely captured that information. And if you want more about that, my volume 1 in my series from my PhD of volume 1, which are the adult child survivors, that's the data from that PhD. Volume 2 is the data and research from the mental health practitioners who work with the adult child survivors, the best in the world. So all of the data from that. So you can read about those 2 studies at any point. I'm actually doing new editions for them. There'll be edition 2 about to come out at the same time as Healing Qualia. So hopefully all 3 books will be able to get out there into the world and teach people what we as adult children would like them to know. And there's just no stigma in this space. 50% or more of the world have experience of divorce, and the adult children, it's time for them to stand up, because I believe they actually have the answer to this, and everybody else has had it for a very long period of time, and it's still going on. So I believe if we can teach them through Healing Qualia how to stop it, we will be able to stop parental alienation. That's just my thoughts and feelings. So anyway, I want to talk about Healing Qualia rights statement for the adult survivors, which is in Healing Qualia. So this is also informed by principles in the United Nations Conventions on the Rights of the Child, including their identity, their family relations, protection from harm, the right to be heard, cultural belonging and recovery, and dignity. So it's also informed by the Healing Qualia treatment protocol. So this is what I designed because I couldn't really find anything that was helpful. So this is the Healing Qualia rights statement. Every adult survivor who was denied safe love, truthful information, identity protection, or connection in childhood has the right to seek the truth at any age. 2. Adult survivors have the right to ask questions, seek records, hear more than one perspective, learn their family history, understand their parentage, and piece together the story of their childhood without shame, pressure, retaliation, or coercion. And this is a big one, because a lot of us, we've been told particular stories, particular narratives, so that we didn't go outside of the family and domestic violence situation, outside the coercion, outside the enmeshment. We had to stay within the family system as child soldiers and do what our alienating parent wanted us to do, as well as regulate them. So learning about our family history and all of that sort of thing was not something that is given to a lot of the adult child survivors. So this is a right that they do get to ask questions about it. They also get to ask and see the records. So some of the adult children in my study actually said that the allegations against their targeted parent were so dreadful. One of the women that I interviewed, her father was accused of CSA with her, and she kept telling them all, it's not true, it's not real, it's not accurate. Everybody in the court system was believing it. The father in this case was turned, the whole community basically turned against him, and she wasn't allowed to see him or be with him at all until she turned 18. And then she went straight to him. And then what she did, she went to the court and she pulled all the records. She got one of the librarians to bring out the records in boxes on trolleys, and she was allowed to photocopy whatever she wanted. So this is something that people don't realize, with all the bad behavior and false allegations, some of them are true, going on in the family court system. Be very careful what you say, because the adult children may go looking at the records, and then if you have spoken out of school, you have been talking about things that weren't necessarily real or true, that's going to be turning up in the court records when they read them later on. So that may not be in your best interests if you're somebody who's actually been doing that. So something to think about. And it also means seek records. I've got another adult child who has gone and got all the records from their therapist, and basically the therapist has not treated them properly, treated them in any of the methods that traditionally would have been used prior to healing Qualia. The best of the best practitioners that I interviewed, they gave me all of their methods and ideas and everything, and I captured them all, and that's the springboard from where we move from. But there are a lot of other clinicians out there who have not done the professional development that they've needed to do, and they have not done the treatment that they needed to do, and this is showing up through the adult children's records as well. So they may go looking for those too. So if you're a practitioner listening to that, just do as much professional development as you possibly can. Get clinical supervision as well, and just make sure that you're doing the best job that you can with the adult child survivors. And we really appreciate when you do that for us, because you're going really outside a lot of the systems that teach, because at university this is not mentioned or talked about really to any depth. It might be superficially discussed. We can go and find out a lot of it by ourselves, but traditionally we don't have any of the subjects that cover a lot of familial abduction or all of this sort of stuff. We have to go and do a lot of this research by ourselves to learn. So they have the right to know what happened, what was hidden, what was distorted, what was lost, and what remains possible. So that's really interesting, because my siblings describe a lot of our childhood as having a jigsaw puzzle with 1 million pieces that are all black, and we've got to find out the pieces and where they go, but there's no picture. So we have to get stories from other relatives and listen to each other's perspectives on different stories. And I'm lucky because I have siblings who experience the same thing that I did. So we can talk to each other, we can discuss the stories. But the children who grew up without siblings, that is a very difficult world for them. So, but that's a topic for another day. They have the right to discover the fuller truth of their own way, of their own life in a way that is safe, supported, lawful, and paced according to their emotional and psychological readiness. And I say that because Healing Qualia is a phase-based treatment protocol. So the clinicians that will be reading Healing Qualia and working with the adult child survivors, yeah, I'm teaching them how to move at a pace that is safe, stabilizing. So that's what I'm talking about, because a lot of the adult child survivors, they go into therapy, and one of the examples I was given the other day by one of the fathers that I work with, he said his son has sat in front of about 10 or 11 practitioners, and the first thing they do is they want to go straight to the trauma and talk about it. And the first thing that he asks is, what lived experience do you have? Are your parents divorced? What do you know about this particular field, parental alienation? And do you have any cred? So now this young man does not go to see the therapists because they keep jumping in straight into the trauma. So it's extremely delicate work that needs to be paced, and the adolescent child needs to be stabilized. So we talk a lot about this. I talk a lot about it in Healing Qualia. So that was very interesting. And he's also been given a copy of Healing Qualia, and I'm just waiting to see how he feels about reading it, what his comments will be, because if I can get the adolescent and adult children who've sat in front of a lot of clinicians to read Healing Qualia and give me more feedback before it gets published, I absolutely am on board with that. So adult child survivors also have the right to grieve lost time, missing relationships, interrupted attachment, hidden information, identity disruption, cultural disconnection again, and the childhood pieces that they were not allowed to hold. They have the right to make meaning from their own history, not only from the version of events they were given as children. They have the right to seek information about their name, identity, parentage, medical history, family story, culture, kinship, and relational history, where this can be pursued safely and lawfully. They have the right to refuse unsafe contact, seek safe connection, set boundaries, revisit old narratives, and decide what healing means without being pressured towards reconciliation, forgiveness, silence, rejection, or disclosure. And on that note, I just want to say, Healing Qualia does not push adult children towards reunification, reconciliation, none of that. If they want to go into that space, Healing Qualia will teach the practitioners how to move with them through that space. And what happens if something terrible happens at one of the christenings or a wedding or something like that? This is all spoken about because this does not move in a straightforward way. It goes around, comes back, goes down. The treatment for the adult child survivors is, what's the word? It's very fluid, it's very organic. And between the phases, if we go from phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, it might be just one family event that pushes one of the adult survivors right back to phase 1. So that is not a bad thing. We know that this is going to happen, and we know that some of the adult children will be in and out of treatment for a long time, will need tune-ups. Some won't. They'll be able to tune up themselves once they get a handle on what methods to use. So this is very, very interesting, because it's not as simple as just don't talk to your parent anymore. For some of us, that's not possible. And for others of us, it is possible. But there's a whole range of things that come into play in that space, which is a conversation for another day. The next one, they have the right to clinical care that protects dignity, autonomy, culture, nervous system safety, consent, pacing, and adult choice. And clinical care sometimes involves some of the adult children who've been medically hurt by an alienating parent in order to keep them with them. So medically, psychologically, we're talking about factitious disorder imposed on another, previously Munchausen's by proxy, which I suppose a lot of you have heard about. And sometimes the adult children are still really suffering from that having happened to them as young ones. So they have the right to be supported as whole people whose lives were affected by developmental harm and not reduced to a diagnosis. Now, this is really critical, this step, because some adult children will potentially have a diagnosis, but a lot of them won't. There's a lot of misinterpretation in this space, and I do talk about it in Healing Qualia, because there's this terrible rumor going around that all adult children are pathological. And I swear, if I hear this, I'm really interested to know which clinicians are actually spreading this, because it's very detrimental to the adult child community. It's actually not true all of the time. The majority of the time it is not true. So in fact, I actually asked, because I've heard this come at me in some of the groups where I speak, that some of the targeted parents are being told that the adolescent and adult children are pathological and not to be trusted. Now, I don't agree with this at all. I think that's extremely stigmatizing. I've got my thoughts on why that rumor's being mentioned, spread around, etc. I don't think it's going to help any of the adult child survivors whatsoever. And even if they do get a diagnosis of any particular mental health challenge, I don't think that that's a problem at all. I think that in this day and age where adult survivors with lived experience are speaking on international platforms, their voices are incredibly important. And I don't think that any of the mental health professionals should be talking out of school in this space, because a lot of them have not been the ones to assess and diagnose these adult child survivors. So a lot of this blanket accusation that's going around, really, if you are hearing this or you are one of the practitioners who's taking part in this, please stop doing that. It's not going to help the adult children, and we really need the practitioners to step in the space and help. But a lot of the time it's pathology that it might be seen as pathology, but it's behaviors that have been learned and we can actually undo them. So it's the trauma that we're seeing. So this is another conversation for another day, and that's we need to be careful in that space. And even if they do have a mental health diagnosis, they still have amazing voices and perspectives and points of view. So, and they just need some treatment, and Healing Qualia will work in that space too. And if we have anyone presenting with, say, borderline, which comes from abandonment, we can treat them with DBT, dialectical behaviour therapy. So, and then move them back into Healing Qualia. So, and keep them moving along that way, because we just need to get smarter as therapists and get more tools and just do better than we have been, really. We need to up our professional development and keep improving so that we can reduce the suicide. And like I said earlier, every second counts. This is a big motto that I have in Healing Qualia. Every second counts towards stopping suicide in this cohort. A lot of them have come out of the family court system and their heads are spinning. So being caught up in the family court, a family story, or another person's version of events. This is all part of the rights. They have the right to be supported across all of those platforms and avenues and different systems. So yeah, so like I said, I actually believe that the adult children are the ones who are going to change this if we teach them a different way. It's 100% working, not even like 98% working, it's 100% working with the adult children that I'm working with. But they're also getting assessment before I start working with them. And for some of them, we just work very, very slowly because we've got a lot to undo, and a lot of the adult children can still be very enmeshed, even at an older age, with their alienating parent. So it's complex work, it's tricky, but I hope that what I've written is going to be used by other practitioners to build upon, use my work, create stories, do whatever you want to do, improve on it, use it how you need to. So the more of us who are studying this particular area, this frontier, the more likely we're going to be able to reduce the suicide rate. So let's just go gently, and like I said on every one of my other videos, this is not a gender war. This is a child abuse problem. So we need to be focusing not on the gender war between the adults, because the more the adults are fighting and the mental health people are fighting, and the more the light's taken off the children who are in child abuse, serious level child abuse. Some of these children are not here on the earth anymore because of this. So, and some of them are still missing. Some of them have reunited, like Dawn after 44 years, and Andrew, who reunited with his mother too after a long period of time. The stories are personal, and we are taking this very personally because it is our story, our history. The adult children have a lot to say in this space. Please listen to them. If you want to go and listen to the adult children who spoke at the first Nothing About Us Without Us Thrivers Speak conference, go over to my YouTube channel. We uploaded all the videos for free. So go and have a watch of them, and maybe as practitioners and potentially other adult child survivors, you'll be able to hear the voices of your cohort and of those who you'll potentially be walking alongside and helping and treating. So on that note, please everybody, we are praying for peace, we are praying for love, we are praying that people wake up to the trauma, the child psychological abuse that's going on. To me, it's a silent epidemic going on in the community at the moment. The people that I talk to who find themselves in alienation, such as the grandparents that I actually went out to their home last week to speak to, they didn't even know, they've never even heard of the term parental alienation before their adult child started going through it. So anyway, that's a very, very sad story. And they said they've been talking to everybody they know about it. And there's so many of their cohort of grandparents who actually have never heard of it but are involved in it in some way, or being affected by it. So the word's spreading around here in my community. So all we can do is focus on what we can control, get the word out in our backyards as much as we can, look after our communities, and go gently and be kind to each other. And please stop fighting around the children. They hear everything, they see everything, they remember everything. Okay, thank you for listening. If you stayed right to the end of my video, I really appreciate your time. Okay, thank you everybody. See you later.